Okay, here we are on set, and we have our resident rune expert Eli here to explain a little bit about how he went about creating the runes and carvings for our dark crystal set.
Hi, Gray. So, what we did was we came up with a concept based off of the Dark Crystal movie. The part that we wanted to capture is when the Gelflings reach the old Gelfling village. They come across a really neat wall that has runes and pictographs on it. They have a little flashback for their history. We wanted to capture that feel in these pictographs, and so we looked at some reference material online, just some screen caps of the actual scene, and worked roughly off of that. It's not an exact replica by any means. We've taken some creative license with it. First, we just lined the entire thing out in Sharpie to give a rough outline, and then we took the super useful Dremel and very carefully went along and etched out each little piece. This is all hand-etched, freeform, based off of that rough Sharpie. So what we have is a combination of inspired roughly from the original pictographs down the sides. We have a lot of extra room, and I didn't want to do a bunch of tiny runes on there, so we did a variation of Futhark, which is an old Seok Switcher rune pattern, which actually has a secret message hidden in it for those who can figure out how to read it. So from there, once it was carved in and we got the basic painting down, I took a number of watercolor or water-based paints, painted the individual figures. It was originally fairly bright. Thankfully, some additional aging needed to occur, which has roughed it down to where it looks like these could have been there for several centuries, hopefully a millennia or two, if you compare it to some actual historic wall paintings going back to the Roman era. It looks roughly this old.
Yeah, I think, so remember all the coats of paint, the really light coats of paint that we ended up doing in order to get this deep, very natural look with our rocks. We just basically let the overspray go onto the colored runes and pictographs, and that is all we needed to do in order to give this a real aged kind of look. Really fade out a lot of those colors, make it look like they've been here for a long time. Hey, so a quick note, some people have been asking me, okay, how did we go about getting some of this sort of decayed, weathered stone look? If you look around in some areas, like right here, you can really kind of see it looks like stone that's sort of been washed away, or some sort of erosion has happened. Remember, all of this is foam. This is foamular, and what we did was we just took straight acetone. You can pick it up at your local department store, put it in a spray bottle, and then very carefully sprayed it in selected areas. So like along seams, up in corners and joints, and maybe just randomly picked out a couple places where we wanted it to look particularly worn and weathered. So that's just acetone. The acetone ends up eating through the paint and eating through the foam just a little bit. Again, be real careful with that. But it's a great way to get sort of a weathered look. So Eli, any other notes you want to mention? Or?
No, I think we've really covered everything. This has been a really neat project to work on, and a great use of some dremeling and just model painting skills.
Yeah,